information with others. So there are two types of activities I want you to observe now. Understand. One is whatever the information you receive through your five senses. One is you create thoughts based on the information you are receiving through your five senses. Another is you are not thinking, you are not analyzing, you are not trying to understand anything. But you know you are receiving information, you are seeing, you are hearing, you are listening, you are feeling, but you are not creating, you are not bothered about it. You don't try to analyze. You don't try to understand anything. You just observe. You just listen. You just hear. So one is creating thoughts based on the stimulus you receive through your five senses. Another is you are not creating any thoughts, although you receive stimulus through your five senses. Can you understand these two things now? How many of you say yes? Either you can show your hand or you can type in chat box. You are able to understand these two, difference between these two. If you understand this, then you have solved, है ना? आपका क्या बोलूं मैं? सारा problem solve हो गया आपका. 99% of the problem is solved now itself.
Om Shanti, brother.
Om Shanti.
Yeah, I'm not able to do. I mean, too many thoughts are coming to the mind, both through the perception and also without perception. And you know, thoughts coming based on the work probably I did about the work or about the family or about a friend, whatever I did the whole day, or maybe some assignments or some work or certain deadlines. So that keeps coming. There is no any perception, but only that that compulsion of accomplishing or compulsion of what I did wrong, what I did right. That, you know, so many thoughts keep coming. Of course, through the perception also the thoughts are coming, and without perception, the present perception also the thoughts are coming.
Okay. That is your observation. How about others' observation? How many of you feel that you can observe your five senses, the information received through your five senses without creating thoughts? Two hands are raised. Huh? How about others? Are you able to feel this difference, understand this difference? Because if you can understand this, then you have the experience of complete and the whole spirituality.
Brother, experience, the difference was there, but I could not control the full thoughts. I mean, there were some thoughts coming and going.
Okay.
But there was difference. I felt a difference actually.
You can feel the difference.
Yes.
See, okay, why we are not able to experience this state of silence or being an observer, just an observer, detached observer? There is a few reasons for that. If you have a pen and paper, better you write it down so that you can work on that. See, do you feel anything in this world happen without a cause? Can anyone say that something can happen without any cause? Or do you feel that for everything there is a cause?
only miracle happen without any cause.
Even for that miracle to happen, there should be some, something you would have thought, or without anything, nothing can happen. Even miracle to happen, somebody should have thought about it, or somebody should have that prayed for it, or had that strong intention, desire for it. So in the whole world, if you see, for everything, there is a reason. Whether it is physical illness, whether it is mental disorders, whether it is our day-to-day issues, even the problems what we face, like in meditation, when we want to do meditation, we are not able to stabilize or experience what Baba says. So if you can understand the cause of it, then very easily we can overcome that. We can have more success in our spiritual life, or whether it is our physical life, anywhere. So it starts with, like, whether it is a creating thoughts or not creating thoughts, whether it is a disease, whether it is illness, whether it is your day-to-day issues in your life. For everything, we would say that there are 4 main causes. Better you write it down, okay? The first one is the psychological causes. The way we think, the way we perceive informations, the way we receive the stimulus through your 5 senses, and how we process the information, and how what are the memories we have stored in our mind. So all these psychological, the thoughts influence us. So that is one of the cause. And the second one is the biological. The food what we had or what we have every day, and throughout the day, what is your schedule, how many times you have food, what type of food you take, whether it is full of nutrition values, or whether it is junk food, whether you have enough vitamins, minerals. So this biological, one thing is very much focused on the diet, what we consume. And the second thing is how it affects our physical body. It depends upon different people, like nobody can say this is my right food, this is how uh, I mean to say, there is no standard way of doing certain things for everyone. Every individual has their own way of consuming things, or digesting, or um, the external situation, how it affects them. Like in Ayurveda, they say there is 3 types of body, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So the dominants in Vata, they have different types of body structure, and for them, it is a different type of food they need. So same type of food will not be applicable for everyone. So as an individual, I should understand what is suitable for me, how much is suitable for me. And other way, the second thing is how I should take care of my body. And although you will find some standard way of taking care of your body, like morning exercise, walking is a must, and then evening walk, proper sleep. Sleep is very much important. So I'm not going into detail. I'm just telling you, this is another factor, biological factor, which mostly connected with your physical activity and the food what you have. And the third one is the social factors, how we interact with the people. Whether your attitude, how is your attitude towards your family members, your husband, your wife, your friend, your colleagues in your office. And this is the social factors, and social factors not about just communications and a relationship. It is also about the situations, the climate conditions, whether it is too cold or too hot or whether it is warm. Again, it depends upon some people are very much comfortable in cold and some people are not that comfortable. So this is social situations, the people and the climate conditions. And the fourth one is the spiritual factors. And spiritual factors, basically I can say that the karmas, whatever you have done so far and how it is affecting you. And another is how you are connecting with your own self, connecting with the God, and how you are dealing with your past karmic deeds, how you are taking help from God, taking help from Baba, how you remain connected with him. So this is the spiritual factor. So these four factors, according to my experience so far, whether it is spiritual, whether it is your physical illness, mental illness, or the problems you face in your family, in your office, everything depends upon these four factors. And if amongst you, if there are BKs who are reading Murlis for so many years, they will understand that Baba explains about all these four factors. Whether it is Sakar Murli or Avyakt Murli, you will find, if you read it, most of the Murlis, you will understand Baba handles, explains in all these four levels, how you have to, from morning till evening, how you have to lead your life, the food intake, the relationship with the people, and how you manage the situations. So Raja Yoga, you should understand that it is an holistic approach. It deals with all aspects of your life. And at least we should have some basic knowledge of all these factors, the complete Raja Yoga. Then you will have a good spiritual experience in your life. See, for example, when I asked you to sit in silence, some of you shared that a lot of thoughts are coming about the office work, pending issues, and why it is coming. Because these four factors, somewhere, we are not managing them in a proper way. The management, everything we should manage: time management, people management, self-management, spiritual management, physical management. So one thing today I want to tell you is try to understand these four factors. If you want to have a good experience in your spiritual life, in your physical interactions, physical life, in your office, professional life, we'll try to understand more about these factors. But basic, if you can understand all these four, then you can manage everything in your life. So the first one, and all these four factors, you will be able to manage very well if you can handle the first one, the psychological factor, with better understanding. So today, let us focus on the psychological factor. When your mind is clean and clear, when the soul is empowered, then it can do everything. It can do anything. It can take care of your biological factors, social factors, spiritual factors. Since when I learned psychology, I find it difficult to differentiate between spirituality and psychology, because I find psychology mostly, and almost 90% of psychology is about spirituality. So that 10%, nowadays when I say spiritual factor, I talk about that 10% of things which is not covered in psychology. But based on Baba's knowledge, I find the whole psychology is covered in spirituality. So when I talk about psychology, mostly, there will be a, I cannot differentiate between spirituality and psychology. So when I say psychology, it is most of the spiritual factors will be involved. So the first thing, when we say the soul, the consciousness, there is a message, more clarity. Okay, see, there is a message, more clarity, please. But I mentioned 4 factors. But what is that more clarity you mean? So even when you write a message, there should be more clarity in writing. The other person should not ask you a question, okay, what you have written. So it will make life more easier. And most of the time, almost all the time, the relationship issues are caused because of these communication issues, the communication problem. We never communicate in a proper way. In the sense, when you ask something or when you say something, in Baba's knowledge, you don't make others' intellect work more. You don't make their intellect heavy. Baba says always feel light, always feel easy. But when you say something, when there is so many questions in that sentence, then you make the other person's head into heaviness. Then he start thinking, when somebody says more clarity, what more clarity I will speak? Whether I'll clarify on the psychological factor, biological factors, social factors. So it comes in social issues, the communication. I'll just tell you one thing. Whenever you communicate, just see that whether you are answering what, where, when, how, and with whom. What, where, when, how, and with whom. 4W and 1H. So that the other person feel more comfortable and you are also clear in your communication. Fine. So I'm clarifying everything, but time is short. In half an hour, I don't know how much clarity I can give you, but it's a lifelong process. The more you understand these 4 factors, the more happiness you gain in your life, the more easy your life becomes, the more joyful you have in your communications, in your interactions with the people. Okay. So this psychology. So when I said, when you have to just observe, there are 2 things you should understand in this. One is, when you observe things through your 5 senses, 2 things happen. One, you just observe. Another is you create thoughts. And the researchers say almost 70 to 95% of diseases are caused by stress or the mind, and call it a psychosomatic. So that's why I said, if you can handle the psychological factor in a better way, you can handle everything. So this stress, it is caused because we are not able to understand the difference between these 2. The difference between to be just an observer and another is to, while I create thoughts. The difference between these 2, if you understand better, then you will get rid of 95% of the problems in your life. Even the physical illness, the mental illness, you can avoid them if you understand just this concept. When your 5 senses receive the stimulus, receive the information from outside, are you creating thoughts? Are you able to stop your thoughts and just observe? And if you can do this, what happens? You will gain complete control over your thoughts. In the sense, you will know when to speak, when to think, and when not to think, and when not to speak. And if you can gain control over this, then 95% of your all problems are solved. So I feel, let us try to understand this. What is that to be an observer, and what is that what happens when I create thoughts? See, for your spiritual experience, if you want to have very good spiritual experience, one thing you should keep in mind, this is very important. It make your life so easy, make your spiritual life so easy and so joyful. The less thoughts you have, the more spiritual experience you will have. The less number of thoughts, the more you will have wonderful spiritual experiences. When you have less thoughts, you will have control over your thinking, actions, thoughts, and behavior. So one secret for your wonderful life, wonderful spiritual experience, always remember this. Write it down. It is very important. You have to just be aware of this. The less number of thoughts you will have wonderful experiences. And the soul becomes powerful when you think less. You will overcome all your 5 vices when you think less, when you have few number of thoughts. So your attention should be like when you sit in meditation, if you don't have a good experience, the only reason is you are creating more thoughts. You are not able to reduce the number of thoughts. You are not able to be an observer of thoughts. And whenever you become angry, stressful, worried, anxious, and it is the only reason, the reason is you have more number of thoughts. Your thoughts are not observed by you. You're not aware of the thoughts created within you. So here we should understand. Let us practice. Again, just look at the things around you. You're looking at my screen. You are listening to my voice. You can feel the air. You can smell, taste. And as you are observing your 5 senses, keep your eyes open, okay? Because this is something you are doing it, you are going to do it throughout the day. Whether you walk, whether you talk, whether you do any activities. So as you become aware of your 5 senses, observing your 5 senses, now observe, try to understand, try to be aware, find out how many thoughts you are having. Are you able to count your thoughts? Are you able to observe your thoughts as you are listening to my voice, as you're looking around? Forget about what you want to do, want to understand. Just forget everything. Just observe things around you. Don't try to understand also. What I'm just saying, you just do it. Don't try to understand. You don't need to understand anything here. You are just focusing on your five senses. That's it, nothing more. You're not understanding anything. You don't need to understand anything. Just look at the things around you. You are hearing my voice. You can feel the air blowing on your body. You can feel your dress, skin, the floor. You're touching through your feet. Headphone you can feel. So as you are observing these, your five senses, the information you are receiving through your five senses, just see, did you have any other thought? Because your mind cannot think two things at the same time. When you are just attentive on your five senses, you are just attentive, you are there, just there, that's all. You are not thinking anything else. It's not an effort, you are just observing things around you. So when you are doing this, can you feel, can you understand, can you observe, did you observe that there was no other thoughts? How many are able to do this? Even if you had thoughts, maybe one or two, you can count. You are very much aware. Okay, when I am observing, I had a thought whether I am doing this, doing that. Just few thoughts, 2-3 thoughts, it's okay. So this is like being an observer. You're just observing what is happening, what is being received through your five senses. And this is like giving a break to your constant thinking mind. From morning, the moment you wake up till you go to sleep, you keep thinking, 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 thinking. So it's like giving a break. How to give a break? Just become aware of your five senses. Let all the responsibilities be aware in that moment. So practice this now, another 2 minutes. Just look at the things around you. There's nothing to think. There is nothing to plan. There is no responsibility. Just forget everything for a few seconds. Just become aware of your five senses. And as you become aware of your five senses, you know, if you are, even if there are thoughts, you know, okay, I'm creating thoughts. There are 2-3 thoughts, fine. You are aware of it. And just feel the silence around you. The silence that exists between two sounds. In between, you will hear the sound, doesn't matter. You can hear, you can see, but don't create thoughts. Just feel the silence in between the sounds. You don't have to do anything. Spiritual practice is nothing. You have to just do nothing. That's it. Just become aware of that silence, stillness. You're not doing anything. You're not making any effort. You're just observing things around you and just sitting still. But let your attention be on that silence, stillness in between the sounds. And as you feel the silence, you feel the lightness. Just smile. I want all of you to smile. Just smile. Feel the joy within you. In this moment, there is no responsibility for you. In this moment, you're just become still, silent, smiling. You are free from all the responsibilities. Just there is a thought of smile, the inner smile, the inner joy. So this is another thing you should remember. Whenever you sit in meditation, bring your mind to this stillness. Then you will experience that joy within you. Then you will experience that love, the joy, the happiness. Now I want every one of you, whoever is experiencing that inner smile, free from all responsibilities, I want you to write yes in the chat box so that I know how many of you are able to experience this. Just become aware of your five senses and just then go into that silence. Experience that silence. Exists between the sounds. And along with the silence, you will feel that smile and joy, inner joy. And इसको है ना कहते हैं सच्चिदानंद. यही सत्य स्वरूप है, यही आपका ओरिजिनल गुण है. हम सुनते आया है ना आत्मा का गुण क्या है. शांति, प्रेम, आनंद, खुशी, शक्ति. तो जब आपका ध्यान इस पांच इंद्रियों पे आ गया, उस शांति का अनुभव किया, तो आत्मा के असली गुण को आप अनुभव करना शुरू किया, शांति को. जैसे मन शांत हो गया, सारा रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से फ्री हो गया, तो खुशी भी आ गया, हल्कापन भी हो गया, तो प्यार भी हो गया, खुद से भी प्यार, क्योंकि एक बच्चे जैसा हो गया आप सारे रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से डिटैच होकर. तो यही आत्मा का ओरिजिनल गुण है. इसको ही साक्षी अवस्था भी कहते हैं. बाबा का 1969 का मुरली सिर्फ एक बिंदी रूप का कैसे अनुभव करना वो बताता है बाबा. तो मैं अभी जो बताया ना, इसको आपको और अच्छे से समझना है. 1969 का मुरली पढ़ो आप. तो और अच्छा है ना, बाबा बहुत अच्छे से बताया है उसमें 1969 में. अभी इसके बाद हम जो भी डिस्कस करेंगे ना, वो बाबा उसके बाद बताया है 1970, 71, 72. बाबा 1969 में जो बताया ना, दैट इज द पावरफुल स्टेज, इजी स्टेज, एंड दैट इज द ओरिजिनल स्टेज. उसको कैसे अनुभव करना. फिर धीरे धीरे बाबा विस्तार में आया, उसका नेक्स्ट स्टेज को कैसे अनुभव करना. 1970 उसको सेवा में कैसे लगाना. 1971 उसका पावर्स को कैसे एक्सपीरियंस करना, 1972 बाकी लोगों से कैसे इसको यूज करना, 1973 ऐसा एक एक है ना बाबा, वो भी है ना स्टेप बाय स्टेप बोलते आया। और जो 1969 में बोला वो बाबा कभी उसके बाद बताया ही नहीं है। अलग अलग रूप में बताया, लेकिन वो एसेंस जैसे एज इट इज, वो स्थिति जैसा है वैसा ही जो बाबा बताया वो 1969 में, उसके बाद कोई मुरली में बाबा वो बताया ही नहीं है। लेकिन उसके बाद क्या करना है वो बताया 1970 में, और उसके बाद क्या करना 71 में। ऐसा आप देखेंगे बाबा एक 1985 मुरली बताता है, आप ये 18 अध्याय आ गया गीता का, तो एक एक चैप्टर 1 2 3 18 तक बाबा अलग अलग सब्जेक्ट बताया, वो अलग अलग स्थिति के बारे में बताया, स्टेप बाय स्टेप बताया बाबा ने। सो हम 1969 का अभी हम प्रैक्टिस किया, तो ये अनुभव करेंगे, आपको बाकी सब जो हम डिस्कस करने वाला है ना बहुत इजी हो जाएंगे। और ये प्रैक्टिस आपको कर सकता है, सो यू कैन डू एवरीथिंग, यू कैन मैनेज एवरीथिंग, यू कैन मैनेज योर ओन सेल्फ, you can manage the whole world, you can manage the office, you can manage any type of problems in your life, क्योंकि ये सारा इसके ऊपर आधार है। बाबा बोलता है ना योगी उसको कहते हैं जो जहां चाहे वहां उनकी मन को लगा सकते हैं, और कितना समय लगा सकते हैं उतना समय। ठीक है, ये एक है। दूसरा जो हम डिस्कस किया उसको थोड़ा समझने के लिए, जैसे आप वो चैट में मैसेज आया था ना, क्लैरिफाई मोर, मोर क्लैरिटी, तो इससे भी अच्छा क्लैरिफाई करने के लिए, क्लैरिटी के लिए, जो मन में विचार कम है तो आपको खुद का ऊपर कंट्रोल आ जाता है। जैसे कंट्रोल होता है ना, हमारे हाथ में कंट्रोल है, देन एवरीथिंग इज अंडर कंट्रोल, वी फील कॉन्फिडेंट टू हैंडल एवरीथिंग, ऑल द इश्यूज। फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं बताऊंगा आपको, मैं एक डार्क रूम के अंदर छोड़ दिया, और उस डार्क रूम में बहुत सारा थिंग्स पड़ा है, टेबल्स चेयर्स वो सारा, मैंने बोल दिया इस कमरे के अंदर बहुत चीज पड़ा है, लेकिन आपको इस कमरे के अंदर जाकर दौड़ के घूम के आना है वापस, और गिरना नहीं है। जस्ट थिंक अबाउट इट, एक अंधेरा है कमरा, कुछ दिखाई नहीं पड़ रहा है, उसमें बहुत सारा चीज पड़ा है, एंड आई एम आस्किंग यू टू रन थ्रू दैट रूम एंड कम विदाउट गेटिंग इंजर्ड। इज इट पॉसिबल? अभी दूसरा एक सिचुएशन देखो आप, अभी उस कमरे में मैं लाइट डाल दिया, थिंग्स आर द सेम, देयर इज नो डिफरेंस इन द थिंग्स विच आर लाइंग इनसाइड, वही टेबल चेयर है। अभी मैं बोल रहा हूं दौड़ के आ जाओ, डू यू फील, विल यू फील अफ्रेड इन गोइंग राउंड इन दिस रूम? पहले आपके मन में क्या क्या विचार आया होगा when there is no light, but when there is light, it is not an issue at all for you to just run in that occupied room, congested room, because you know what is there inside the room, and very easily you can pass through it, you know how to handle them. The same thing applies in our life. जब हमको वो समझ नहीं होता है ना ये क्या है बोल के, then you have fear. It is said unknown is fear, When it becomes known, it is not called as fear. As long as something is unknown, then there is fear. But when it becomes known, then there is no fear. So इसके लिए one is you should have information. बाहर भी बोलते हैं ना, knowledge is power. बाबा भी बोलते हैं knowledge is power. बाबा वही करते हैं ना, knowledge ही देता है हमको. नॉलेज नहीं है तो हम बहुत सारा इंफॉर्मेशन है, लेकिन राइट नॉलेज हमारे पास नहीं था, तो बाबा आकर राइट नॉलेज देते हैं. इसके लिए वी बिकम मोर पावरफुल. सो हमारा दिनचर्या में भी, योग में भी सिचुएशंस, प्रॉब्लम्स हमको मुश्किल करा देता है. वी बिकम वरीड, ट्रबल्ड, पेन, एंजाइटी, फियर. सबका एक ही कारण है, लैक ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. इसको साधारण शब्द में बोले तो इग्नोरेंस इज द रूट कॉज ऑफ ऑल प्रॉब्लम्स. सो लैक ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन. लेकिन कौन सा इंफॉर्मेशन? See, one is to gain control, you need information. And second thing is you have to have control over it. When you have information, when you know the method, then you gain control over it. When you work on something, जैसे ये ABCD, बच्चों को हम बोलते हैं A लिखो, B लिखो, C लिखो, बहुत मुश्किल लगता है. We are giving the information. लेकिन first time it seems to be difficult. But as you start doing it, start writing it, A, B, now you just write like that. आपको अभी कुछ मेहनत ही नहीं लग रहा है. Because you got the right information, A, B, C, D क्या है, and उसको कैसे लिखना वो भी आ गया आपको. So you gain control over it by doing it again and again. So one thing is we should understand. There is दूसरा तरीका ही नहीं है. आपको जीवन में भी खुशी चाहिए, स्पिरिचुअलिटी में भी खुशी चाहिए, सक्सेस चाहिए, आपको समझना ही पड़ेगा. लेकिन हमारा कई आदत ऐसा होता है, हम समझने का कोशिश ही नहीं करते. We don't take time to understand things. And that is the main cause of all the problems in our life. ऑफिस में प्रॉब्लम, घर में प्रॉब्लम, स्पिरिचुअल एक्सपीरियंस भी नहीं हो रहा है, वो नहीं हो रहा है, because we don't find time or we don't give time to understand what is happening or what is going on. बीमार हो गया, डॉक्टर के पास गया, हम सोचते हैं डॉक्टर ठीक करेंगे हमको. You got diabetes, you got heart attack, you got cancer, you got all types of mental disorders because you are not thinking properly, you are not eating properly, you are not sleeping properly, and you are not taking care of your social interactions. You have done everything wrong and you got the disease and you go to the hospital and you expect your doctor to heal, to cure you by just giving few medicines. Is that possible? आपने सब कुछ गलत करके रखा है और वो समझने के लिए भी आपको टाइम नहीं है. डॉक्टर के पास गया, कुछ 2-3 दवा ले लो, मेरे को ठीक होना है. कैसे होगा? This is the cause why people are dying because of all these non-communicable lifestyle diseases. लोग कहते हैं it is a non-communicable, लोग कहते हैं it is a lifestyle disease. Lifestyle means it is curable. There is no reason for you to have disease when if you are living a proper healthy life. proper systematic life with all the information. But people are dying, millions of people dying all over the world because of lifestyle disease, which you have in your hands. You have control over yourself, but you are not doing it. Because we don't try to understand. Information ही नहीं है, क्यों disease हो रहा है, क्यों spiritual experience नहीं हो रहा है, information ही नहीं है. Second thing, when we have the information, we don't try to do it. Unless you put some effort, you will not have control over that. So आज का मैं इतना ही बोल रहा हूँ. The cause is psycho, biosocial and spiritual. And if you understand it, you can have control over it and you can lead. You will have success in everything. You will have happiness in everything. So आज एक बात मैं बताऊंगा, like psychological. आपको मन के ऊपर कंट्रोल होना चाहिए. उसके लिए first you should understand what is the mind. Information चाहिए आपको. Without information, you cannot have control over it. So what is information? I'll tell you something today. I am telling you there is nothing called mind. क्योंकि कई बार क्या करते हैं, गलत करते हैं मैं, लेकिन मैंने क्या बोल दिया, मेरा मन गलत कर दिया और सारा मेरा रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी को मन के ऊपर डाल दिया. क्योंकि हमारा स्क्रिप्चर्स भी वही बोल के आ गया. मन क्या है, मन को कहते हैं बंदर जैसा है, उसको कंट्रोल करना मुश्किल है. और ये भी बोलते हैं मन को कंट्रोल कर दिया, सारे दुनिया को कंट्रोल कर दिया और भी मुश्किल करा दिया हमको. See, our scriptures and the information what we have received from our childhood days, it's nothing wrong in the, they had given a right information, but we have taken it in a wrong way because we didn't try to understand what is this so-called mind. And based on the information so far, whatever we had received, we are thinking that there is something called mind and which works on its own ways. And I am something different from the mind and I am not responsible for whatever my mind is doing. कितने लोग ऐसा सोच रहे हैं बताइए? How many of you feel this is this what you understood from the society, from the media, from the scriptures? Is it like that or not? But when you understand Baba's knowledge, you will find mind is nothing but, let us experience. Let us try to understand with experience. ठीक है? अभी आप सब देख रहे हैं. Just observe through your 5 senses. आप देख रहे हैं. You are listening to my voice. You're feeling the silence. Now, I want you to remember what you had for breakfast yesterday morning. Just remember what you had for your breakfast yesterday morning. So this is the first thought you had. Now, second thing I'm asking you, 2 years ago, where were you living? Whether in Muscat, whether in India, 2 years ago, where were you? This is the second thought. Third thought, just remember your school, the name of your school. So here, I made you to think and you created thoughts. I made you to think, you created thoughts. Now tell me, what is mind? Think about yourself, what is mind? So आज के लिए I am just telling you there is nothing called mind. The process of thinking, you created thoughts of your school, you created thoughts about your where you lived 2 years ago, you created thoughts what you had for breakfast yesterday morning, and this process is called mind. And if you want, you had full control over your thoughts, because what I said you remembered, nothing else you remembered. So you have full control over your thoughts, and this process is called mind. So there is nothing, a separate entity called mind. So this you should understand, because आप बोलेंगे मन अलग है, then you will not have control over your activities, you will not have control over your thinking, you will not have control over your feelings of happiness and joy, sadness, because you think mind ने कर दिया. Try to understand there is nothing called mind. It is only your thoughts, and you have full control over your thoughts. And one more experiment. Just think, अभी 2 साल के बाद आपको क्या बनना है, क्या करना है, आपका कुछ फ्यूचर प्लान को सोचो आप. You are planning, and this is called intellect. Again, there is nothing called intellect. There is nothing separate entity called intellect. It is you create thoughts, you take some decisions, you try to understand something, and that process is called intellect. So from today, I will say, आपको बुद्धि नहीं है. Yes or no? आपको बुद्धि है? Tell me, answer in the chat box. बुद्धि है आपको? Say yes or no. है या नहीं? Intellect है आपको? Somebody answer. बुद्धि है आपको? बुद्धि नहीं है ना सभी को? नहीं है सच में. Okay.
There is nothing.
आपको मन भी नहीं है, बुद्धि भी नहीं है. It's all thoughts. So why I'm saying this? If you know that you are the creator of thoughts, whether it is called as mind or intellect, ultimately you are the creator. Then you gain control over your thoughts. फिर आपको मालूम होगा मेरे को ये सोचना है नहीं सोचना है. ये बात सोचने से मैं दुखी हो गया, तो मैं उसको मत सोचूं. मैं ये लोगों से बात करने से मैं परेशान हो रहा हूं, तो बात नहीं करूंगा मैं, या बात करने का तरीका मैं चेंज करूंगा. So why I'm saying this, we have been taught that there is a different mind, there is a different intellect. I'm not blaming the people who had taught us. I'm just blaming myself or ourselves in understanding what is mind and intellect. When you say there is a mind, when we say there is an intellect, we don't have control over it. But when I say I am the creator of mind, I am creating thoughts, and that's why it is called mind. I am making decisions, that's why it is called intellect. Then I have control over my thinking. क्या सोचना है, क्या नहीं सोचना है, I can control. But आप बोलेंगे नहीं मेरा मन कर दिया, मेरा बुद्धि ऐसा कर दिया, हो गया, then you will not have control over your activities. It's like you, है ना, dark room में you keep roaming about, इधर उधर है ना धक्का लगाकर गिरते रहेंगे, because you feel you don't have control over your mind and intellect. So for today, this is the information I want to say. One thing is, don't put blame on your mind and intellect, because there is nothing called mind and intellect. Take responsibility for your thoughts, because you are the creator of your thoughts. And when you take responsibility of what you think, then you will not make mistakes. Then you will have a wonderful experience in meditation. When you sit in meditation, you will not say, oh, मेरा मन ऐसा कर दिया, मैं कितना कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, मेरा मन है ना focus नहीं हो रहा है. Because you put the blame on the mind. You think mind is thinking. You don't realize that you are creating thoughts. The moment you stop creating thoughts, मेरे को योग नहीं हो रहा है, योग नहीं हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, मैं कितना कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, बाबा से कनेक्शन नहीं हो रहा है, खुशी नहीं आ रहा है. Because you are creating thoughts and you think that something else is doing everything. You think mind is creating all these problems. But now onwards, you should know that it is you who is creating thoughts. Then you will keep quiet. अच्छा, मैं सोच रहा हूँ, मेरा को अनुभव नहीं हो रहा है, अनुभव नहीं हो रहा है, कौन बोल रहा है? मैं खुद thoughts create कर रहा हूँ ना. So let me stop that thought and start feeling. Stop thinking and start feeling. Then you will have the experience. Okay. So now to conclude, सब कुछ देखते सुनते हुए, just feel that silence within you. You're just an observer. सब कुछ देख रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, and feel the silence. And along with the silence, smile. There's nothing called mind and intellect. Now you are free to experience that smile within you. Feel the smile, feel the joy. And when you have this silent smile, when you become your own self, you are experiencing the qualities of self, then you connect with God. Because God remains in this state of awareness all the time. बोलते हैं ना, परमात्मा सदा सच्चिदानंद है, सदा खुशी में रहते हैं, सदा शांति में रहते हैं, सदा आनंद में रहते हैं. So when you experience that peace, love, joy, bliss, now, then you connect with the Supreme. Then you receive God's love. Then you are in the company of God. आज का वरदान था ना, मैं और बाबा बस. तो जब आप आनंद में बैठेंगे, आपके साथ कौन है? कोई दुनिया वाला है क्या? When you have that peace, bliss, who is with you? It is the सदा सच्चिदानंद, शिव बाबा ही साथ है आपके पास. So this is what Baba says, अपने को पहले आत्मा समझो, फिर मुझे याद करो. क्योंकि परमात्मा को याद करना है तो पहले आपको सच्चिदानंद बनना पड़ेगा, फिर वो सच्चिदानंद से आप कनेक्ट हो जाएंगे. ओके, ओम शांति. So thank you, sister, for giving this great opportunity.
Thank you very much. Yes, we may come out with questions for the next session, because as we were listening and reflecting now, so in that way we may come out with new questions because when we start experimenting and doing it, so then we know what's the challenges or how needs to be done and what extent it's happening and all that. So in that way, thank you very much. And we will join you back on Saturday at the same time, 7:30. Yes. So
Okay,
just a few minutes of silence. Again, we remain in Baba's remembrance. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.